Welcome to the 2018 open enrollment for Legence Bank. Legence Bank is pleased to announce that we partnered with Assured Partners, a team of dedicated, experienced insurance professionals that will manage your employee benefit package. Your dedicated service team consists of Lisa Lee, Senior Strategic Account Executive, Casey Alsep, Account Manager, and Sue Lofton, Member Service Level AE. Should you need assistance with a claim or have a question regarding your explanation of benefits or have a benefit question, please feel free to contact Sue Lofton, Member Service AE Direct at 270-393-6208, toll free 1-888-824-1842, extension 6208, or by email at sue.lofton@assuredpartners.com. Please note the following slides were designed to provide you with a brief overview of your 2018 benefit package. In the event of a conflict between the carrier summary and this description, the terms of the carrier summary will prevail. In this presentation, we will review the following: benefit basics, medical benefits, wellness, value-added services, HSA bank account, dental and vision benefits, and employer-paid life. You and your eligible family members may apply for benefits if you're a full-time employee. Coverage is also available for your spouse and your dependent children through age 26. Please note that the elections that you make during this open enrollment will remain in effect for the full year until the next open enrollment in 2019, unless you experience a qualifying life event. If you experience a qualifying life event, you have 30 days from the event date in which to make a change to your benefits. Qualifying life events include birth, adoption and legal guardianship, divorce or legal separation, marriage, death of policyholder, turning age 26 and aging off the parent's plan, loss of Medicaid, FMLA-related leave, or loss of employer-sponsored group coverage. For a complete list of qualifying events, please contact your Human Resource Department. Your medical benefits are administered through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. You have a triple option benefit in which to choose from. The first plan is a high deductible health plan. It is HSA compliant. With the high deductible health plan, there are no co-payments. Everything is subject first to your annual deductible. Once you satisfy your deductible, the co-insurance will kick in. As you can see, you have a $2,700 individual deductible. Once you satisfy your deductible, the co-insurance of 90% in network, 90% for the carrier, 10% for you, will kick in until your total out-of-pocket limit is reached. The total out-of-pocket limit is $3,500. That's the total exposure you will have if you enroll in this plan if you had a worst case scenario year. Before the carrier, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, will pay all remaining claims for the remaining of that plan year in network at 100%. Looking across the board, if you had a worst case claim year, your total exposure is less in the high deductible health plan than it is in either of the PPO plans. So again, the takeaway with a high deductible health plan, you must first meet your deductible, and it is HSA compliant. Your total out-of-pocket is the least on this plan compared to the others. The PPO low option is what is currently in place now. It's a $2,500 PPO deductible. With the PPO plan, you have first dollar copay. So you've got a $30 copay for primary care physician and a $50 copay for specialty care. You also have first dollar copays for prescription medications. Once you are hospitalized, if you receive diagnostic testing or lab work, all of that goes towards your annual deductible of $2,500. Then your co-insurance will kick in, which is 80/20 in network. Once you have satisfied your out-of-pocket limit, which includes your deductible, your co-pays, your co-insurance, once you meet that $5,500, your total exposure, then the carrier will pay at 100% for the remainder of the calendar year for in-network benefits. Of course, this compared to the other two plans is the worst case scenario. That's going to be your most out-of-pocket that you'll have to pay. So it gives you the more liability with that plan. The PPO High plan is the richest plan. It's also going to be the most costliest plan for you. You have a $1,500 annual deductible. Again, because it's a PPO plan, you have first dollar copays for primary care physician specialty. You also have a $150 emergency room copay and first dollar drug copay. With this plan, it's a total exposure of $4,500. So let's say you're hospitalized, you have a really bad year claims-wise. Your total exposure, again, compared to the other two, is kind of middle of the market, is $4,500. Again, with the first dollar copays here, one thing I want to point out is the specialty drugs. You have a $150 copay, and that's per prescription filled for your specialty drugs, or a $250 copay for a non-preferred specialty. There is a formulary that we're posting on the company intranet that reviews what drugs are covered as retail preferred, non-preferred, preferred specialty, non-preferred specialty. If your prescription is not listed in that formulary, that basically means that it's not covered by the drug plan. So you want to make sure that you have a prescription that is covered. And of course, anytime you can choose a retail preferred, you're going to get the better pricing. We're going to try to make you really good consumers of your health plan, your pharmacy plan, your vision, your dental plan. One thing I want to bring to your attention on the specialty drugs, these typically are the drugs that flash across your TV screen. These are the newest release drugs that simply haven't oftentimes met the Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 pricing schedule. They've not been on the market long enough. A lot of times these are the drugs that the pharmacy vendors or the pharmaceutical reps are promoting to your providers. They're taking in free samples, and the providers are writing prescriptions for you to go to fill. Now, this is the worst case drug pricing for you because, again, it's new to the market. You're going to be out more money than you are with a generic or a brand drug. Now, many times the ingredients that's contained in that specialty drug can be made up by taking a combination of generic or a combination of a generic and brand drug. Has the very same ingredients as that specialty. So to be a better consumer, we want to recommend that you ask your provider if there's a generic or a brand equivalent drug in lieu of that specialty drug that you can try to take. Oftentimes it does work just the same. Sometimes there's a case or two where only the specialty drug would work. So discuss that with your provider. Again, it's going to save you money in the long run if they can provide a generic or a brand name equivalent. Please note that preventative services in-network are covered at 100%. This is an in-network overview. If you go to out-of-network, providers are going to have higher deductibles, higher out-of-pockets, higher co-insurance, and they are separate buckets. The out-of-network providers have not contracted with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois network. Therefore, they're subject to balance bill you for whatever they want to, and you pretty much will have to pay what they bill you for. So we are highly promoting in-network. Again, the formulary will be posted on the company intranet. We do want to make sure that you are looking at your formulary and trying to be a really good consumer of your pharmacy, because the specialty, again, is going to run very high if you had to get a specialty drug. Preventative care is covered at 100% in-network on all three plans. That includes immunization, well women checkup, well child checkup, mammogram, blood pressure test, cholesterol test, and tobacco cessation products for those age 18 or older. So if you're trying to quit the nicotine habit, there are patches, there are gum, and there are certain drugs that can be approved for you at no cost. Now, remember that please be reminded that the provider has to bill the claim as preventative. If you were to go to your preventative care checkup and then all of a sudden you're bringing up that you've got this cough, you'd like the doctor to look into that, or you've got an ailment with your back or your knee, that automatically becomes a sickness code. So it's very possible that your provider will turn around and send that claim in as a sickness, which that will mean that you'll owe money. You'll owe copay or your deductible or your co-insurance, depending on what plan you're enrolled in. So our recommendation is, if you have a preventative care service, a lot of times if you could leave it as a preventative care, you should walk away not owing anything. And again, it all comes down as to how the provider bills the claim. PPO plan. Remember the PPO plans? That was the second and third column. You have immediate co-payments for office visit, urgent care visits, prescription drugs. Co-payments do not apply towards your deductible, but they do your out-of-pocket maximum, your total exposure. Your high deductible health plan, that's the first column. With a high deductible health plan, you must first meet your deductibles. There are no co-pays associated with it. If you enroll in a high deductible health plan, you're eligible to contribute toward an HSA bank account, and that's set up in your own name. There are no use it or lose it rules. All unused balances will roll over from year to year, and we're going to review the HSA account information in further detail on some upcoming slides. On both plans, remember the out-of-pocket limit, that total exposure. Your deductible and co-payments do apply towards that out-of-pocket limit. Dependent children on the medical plan, the vision plan, or the dental plan are eligible for coverage through age 26, regardless of full-time studentship or marital status. Now, if you have a dependent who's age 26 on the plan now, please know that they will come off the plan at the end of the birth month in which they turn 26. It will be up to you to notify the Human Resource Department when that happens, because let's say, for instance, if you're enrolled in employee plus child coverage and that's the only child dependent you have, they need to adjust the payroll to take you back to single coverage. Network. We encourage to make sure that your provider, whether it be your provider, your physician's office, your urgent care clinic, your hospital participates in the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois network. If you go to a non-network provider, again, you're going to have higher expenses, higher deductibles, higher co-insurance, higher out-of-pocket, and be subject to balance billing. Non-emergent use of the emergency room. In your medical plan document, there's language regarding prudent person lay law. And it states that if you go to the emergency room for a non-emergent situation, carriers can deny your claims. And we are seeing carriers deny claims. Now, if your claim is denied, you have the right to appeal, but we're also seeing several appeals being denied as well. So what that means to you is that you could be responsible for your entire emergency room bill. So we want to encourage you to seek emergency room treatment for true emergencies. If, however, the condition is non-emergent, we want to remind you to seek care from your primary care provider, your urgent care clinics, and we even have a virtual teledoc feature that we're going to discuss in an upcoming slide. The medical pricing is listed on the charts below. This is per payroll deduction after with an effective date of November 1st or after. Please note that there's a $50 per pay surcharge that applies for tobacco usage that equates to $100 per month. You will be required to complete a tobacco and nicotine declaration form. With this form, it states, to the best of your knowledge, you, your spouse, your dependents are or are not tobacco users. You are certifying that the information is true to the best of your knowledge and belief. Now, tobacco products include cigars, cigarettes, e-cigs, vapor devices, smokeless tobaccos, snuff, dip, chewing or pipe tobacco, or any other tobacco products, regardless of the frequency or method of use. So if you're occasional, that deems you a tobacco nicotine user. Now, if you fail to complete the questionnaire truthfully, Legence Bank has the right to adjust your premium charges retroactively and charge you the higher tobacco usage pricing. So you are signing the declaration to state that you will have to reimburse the bank for any amounts that were previously reduced from your premiums for the period for which you falsely certified eligibility for the non-tobacco user rate. Wellness. Well on Target is the wellness portal at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. All you have to do is go to the wellontarget.com and you can log into the portal and find a wide variety of health and wellness resources available, such as the health assessment, self-directed courses, health trackers, and health educational material. With the Well on Target portal, you can also earn Blue points. You'll be able to earn points for regularly participating in many different healthy activities, and you can redeem these points online at the shopping mall. And many of our clients do that, especially around Christmas time. So the earlier that you start earning rewards and your points, the earlier you can have access to merchandise. The Blue Points program has many different activities, such as completing the health assessment every 6 months. You get 2,500 points. If you were to take all 12 lessons of a self-directed course, 1,000 points per quarter. Enrolling in a fitness program, 2,500 points. And just by connecting a compatible fitness device, it's 2,675 points. Again, all of these points will accumulate for your rewards, and you can start using them immediately, just right away. You also have a Well on Target mobile app. Everything has a mobile app these days. All you have to do is to go to the Well on Target portal, register, download the mobile application, or you can download it from the Apple or Google store, and then click on New User Registration, and then follow the prompts from your ID card. There's also a toll-free number should you have any problems with the application or have any questions regarding the Well on Target program. Please feel free to reach out to that toll-free number. Value-added services. As I mentioned on the emergency room slide regarding the prudent person lay law, this is a virtual visit application that we want to encourage you to use. There's several reasons why. Now, for a virtual visit with a doctor, they must be able to see you and you must be able to see them. You're Skyping, whether through your mobile device or your computer with a webcam. But these doctors can treat you for allergies, asthma, sinus infections, colds, flu, ear problem, pink eye, infections. These are things that these virtual doctors can treat you for, will be happy to treat you for, that you could potentially be balance billed for going to the emergency room over. So they also have behavioral health for services for anxiety, depressions, child behavior, or learning issues, and marital problems. Now, if you're enrolled in the PPO plan, you'll either pay a primary care physician copay, which was $30, or a specialist copay of $50, depending on what type of doctor, whether they're set up as a specialist or a primary care physician, at your time of service. At the high deductible health plan, if you're enrolled in the high deductible health plan, you'll pay $44 at your time of service. And once you meet your deductible and your co-insurance, of course, that's going to be paid once you met your out-of-pocket at 100%. So using myself as an example, anytime I go to the urgent care clinic nearby, there's never anything urgent about it. I'm in there for at least an hour. I'm in there with other sick people. And I typically walk away paying more than $44, so that's a really good price. Now, you pay that at point of service, so you need to have your debit card or your credit card available at that time, and you can speak face-to-face with the doctor. What I like about this, in addition to the pricing, is you can be done with your chat, your virtual chat with this physician within 10 to 15 minutes, and they can even call in a prescription to your local pharmacy so you can swing by and pick it up. So, everyone's time is precious. Nobody wants to be sick. Nobody wants to be in a waiting room waiting on a physician to get around to seeing them. And you can either go back to work, you can go back to home and rest. Your time is very valuable. So if you were to Skype with a physician, we want to make sure that you do not try to Skype anything that's occurring under the skin. If you have a broken bone, obviously they cannot make a recommendation regarding your broken bone. They cannot access what's going on under the skin. So that's something that you would want to go to either an emergency room or your primary care provider for. But if you should call into a virtual visit and the doctor's unable to treat you, you will not be charged for that service. So we want to promote this because you can reach them at any time. So if it's a Saturday night and your primary care office is closed, the urgent care clinics are closed, and typically you would go to an emergency room environment, this is something that you can have access to. Let's say your child has a fever and you need treatment. Well, you can be treated by this physician online, and then the next morning they'll have your prescription waiting for you. So very convenient, very affordable, very good benefit. Well, I want to go ahead and suggest that you go ahead and register. If you're already enrolled in the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois medical plan, you're already in their system, go ahead and connect with them. Go ahead and write down your login, because if you have a high fever, the last thing you want to do is to go through a registration process and then wait for a provider. Not that it takes long, it's simply because you're not going to feel like it. So you can access it through a computer, a smartphone, tablet, and then you can interact real-time, face-to-face with board-certified doctors and therapists. Remember the mobile app that's out there. And then, of course, they can diagnose you. They can send your prescription straight to your pharmacy when appropriate. Otherwise, they can, just give you information as to what you should do to treat that condition. You also have the nurse line available to you. It's 24/7. They can answer with any health questions. It's at a toll-free number. The difference with the nurse line is nurses cannot write prescriptions, and there's no charge. So if you want to start out by contacting the nurse line, you may do so. Just know that it's there for you. And then if it's something a little bit more serious that you do need a prescription for, then you may end up calling the virtual visit line as well. Also note that with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois website, you have access to your benefits daily. You can pull your explanation of benefits. You can pull temporary ID cards, and certainly search for your providers, as we discussed on the previous slides. You can find forms such as mail order and so forth. So you can see the current detail of your health plan. There's a lot that's available to you once you get out there on the portal. Just play around with it, see what you can locate. I always recommend with explanation of benefits, if you have a major service coming up, that you pay the minimal that you can at the doctor or the provider's office, and then let that claim get processed. And then you will get your EOBs more real time if you were to go online versus waiting for them to be mailed to you. So you can go and access your explanation of benefits, and you're going to see what the provider is billed for, and by contract what they have to write off as being part of their network, and then what your financial responsibility is. And at that time you can pay off the balance of the bill if you're in a situation with a provider that will work with you. Therefore, you're not waiting for a refund that they may or may not get around to. The health savings account. The health savings account is a tax-advantaged account that can be set up to pay for future health care expenses. You combine it with a high-deductible health plan, and it offers you savings and tax advantages that a traditional health plan cannot duplicate. They're owned by you. They're not like a flexible spending account. HSA funds roll over and accumulate year after year if not spent, and they earn tax-free interest. HSA funds may be used to pay for qualified medical expenses such as deductibles, co-insurance, prescription drugs. You can even pay for your dental and vision care, your co-payments, your eyeglasses, your frames, your braces, long-term care, nursing home care, and much more at any time without a federal tax liability. Now, this is wonderful news. If you make contributions into your HSA bank account, Legence Bank will match your HSA bank contribution up to $200 per year. Now, the HSA bank account will be managed through WageWorks. You will receive a unique WageWorks debit card, works similar to your checking account card. It's going to have, the blue and orange in color. It's going to have your name on it. It's going to have your unique bank account information. And it's almost like a smart card because it's only going to run through for qualified expenses. And we'll get to that slide after this one. And it's basically going to have the funds on there as you put them on there, as they're accumulated. So if you were to put $100 a month, the first month you're going to have $100 available to you on that card. Now, who is eligible for an HSA account? Anyone that's covered by a high deductible health plan and who's not covered by other health insurance. You cannot be also enrolled on your spouse's plan, whether they have a high deductible health plan or a PPO plan. You can only be enrolled on your high deductible health plan, one health plan, to be eligible for an HSA bank account. You cannot have a flexible spending account or HRA. You cannot be enrolled in Medicare, and you cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax returns. Your HSA contributions are 100% tax deductible from your gross income. Can I be enrolled in the PPO plan and have an HSA bank account? Okay, I love this question because I want to go through the scenario with you. If you were to enroll in the high deductible health plan this year and you open a side HSA bank account, and let's say next year at open enrollment, you have $3,000 in your HSA bank account accumulated, but you decided that you want to go back to a PPO plan. Note that that money, whatever money you have in your account, is still there for you to use and access any time you want to. However, when you re-enroll in a PPO plan, you can no longer make a financial contribution into your HSA bank account, okay? So you have to be enrolled in a high deductible health plan to make a financial contribution. Now remember, your funds roll over year to year. That if any unused funds will roll over year to year. You can continue to use your debit card. They just reload. What is the maximum contribution I can make into my HSA for 2018? It's $3,450 for single or $6,900 for family. Now note that that is the total maximum. So if you take advantage of the employer match, you'll need to minus out $200. So that's $3,250 for you for single coverage. And if you're age 55 and older, you also have an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution that you're eligible to make into your plan. Sample of qualified expenses include acupuncture. Acupuncture isn't covered by your medical plan, nor is fertility treatments. So those are covered by those are qualified expenses. You can also have insulin, your long-term care services. There's certain ones that are limited that are covered. Laser eye surgery. Again, you can use if you go to the eye doctor and you need eyeglasses, frames, contact lenses, or you just want to swipe it for your copay. That is what your HSA bank account is for. Your prescription medication, if you have a concern about coming up with your $2,700 deductible, you might put $2,700 into your HSA account. Therefore, should you need to be hospitalized or come up with that deductible, you may have that money in your account. So for me personally, I rarely go to the doctor, have to be really, really sick to do so, and I do not take any prescription medications. So it would be me throwing money out of the window if I were to enroll in a PPO plan because I'm simply not using that benefit. So what I do is I put my extra money, my payroll savings and extra, into my own HSA bank account because I know that money's mine. It's always going to be mine. I'm never going to lose it. And I'm always going to have access to it. Because I can guarantee you that if you were, I'm never going to get a letter from the carrier stating, hey, Lisa, I've seen that you've not been to the doctor for 12 months, so here's a refund of premium. That will never happen. So what you want to do, especially if you're in my situation where you rarely go to the doctor, the high deductible health plan may be the plan that you need to be in. Now, on the same token, if you are on a lot of prescription medications, you have families that are high utilizer of doctor visits and so forth, the PPO plan may be the best option for you. Now, for 2019, the contribution limit will increase to $3,500 for single and $7,000 for family. Again, that's the total maximum, so you will need to minus out the $200 annual match that Legence Bank will make. Dental insurance is through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois as well. You have a $50 calendar year deductible for single, $150 deductible max for family. If it's just you and your spouse or you and one dependent, it's $50 per individual. The maximum benefit per insured person, and this is annual max, is $1,000. If you were to go to have preventative and diagnostic services, which covers your oral exam, your teeth cleaning, your x-rays, you should leave that in-network provider at owing nothing. It's not subject to the deductible. You should not have a bill. Now, if you were to get basic services, that's covered at 80% once the deductible has been met, and major services at 50% once the deductible has met. Again, I always encourage you to watch your explanation of benefits, pay the minimal that you can, wait for that to be processed, and it's going to show what that provider's to write off. You have a lifetime ortho benefit for children that's $1,000 per insured. This amount does not reset. It's a lifetime maximum. unlike the maximum benefit, which resets every year per insured, which is the annual max of $1,000. Now, if you're just enrolling into the into the dental plan, you have a 12-month waiting period for major services, and dental implants are excluded. Make sure that you search for an in-network provider by visiting the website, because if you were to call any provider's office and say, hey, do you accept Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois? Everyone will say yes, because they do accept it, but that doesn't mean that they participate in network. And this is an overview of your in-network benefits. If you were to go out of network, you're going to be subject to balance billing, and that's your biggest worry with the dental insurance, is you having to pay whatever that dental provider bills you for if they're not contracted with the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois network. Attached is the pricing schedule for the dental plans, and again, this is per payroll deduction, effective after November the 1st. The vision plan is through Dearborn National. iMed is the underlying vision plan. You're eligible for an eye exam once every 12 months, lenses or contact lenses once every 12 months, and a new pair of frames once every 24 months. You have a copay for your exam of $10, and you will also have a contact lens and fitting follow-up, $40 copay with 10% off of the retail for premium. You also have a $130 allowance for frames, a $130 allowance for contact lenses with discounts over that balance. As you can see, you have additional copays for your standard lenses and polycarbonate lenses, and you also get a reduction on your laser vision correction should you wish to have the laser vision surgery. Again, as you can see, out of network, hardly a payout compared to what's in network. This is through Dearborn National, so you want to access dearbornnational.com provider search to make sure that your provider is in network, or call the toll-free customer service number. The vision pricing is listed on this page. Again, this is per payroll deduction, very, very affordable, and it's effective November the 1st. Employer-paid life will be through Dearborn National. Legence Bank provides full-time employees with employer-paid group life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance through Dearborn National. The benefits paid at 100% by the company, and an accelerated death benefit is also included. An accelerated death benefit means that if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness that's with less than 24 months life expectancy, you may be eligible for an advancement of 50% of your term life benefit. That is subject to underwriter review and approval. Many times when you're diagnosed with a catastrophic illness and you have less than 24 months life expectancy, you may want to go ahead and get your affairs in order. You may want to go ahead and pay some debt off. You may want to take a trip. This money is yours. The key is that it has to go to underwriter review and approval. The group term life benefit payout for full-time executives is $100,000. Note that that is for sickness. If you were to die by an accidental death, a covered accidental death, then basically your indemnity will double, so your beneficiary will receive $200,000 instead of $100,000. The same way with active management, $50,000 base payout, but if it's accidental, it will double to $100,000, and all other full-time active employees is $25,000, which it will double by a covered accident to $50,000. There is an iLife age reduction schedule that is built into the policy, so benefits will reduce by 35% of the original amount starting at age 65. And note that since this is an employer-paid benefit, coverage will terminate at retirement and upon termination of employment. Travel Resource Services is through Dearborn National. It's your ticket to safe and worry-free travel. So whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, it can be disrupted by a medical emergency, a lost prescription, instability in a foreign country. So we want to let you know what's available to you. This is at no cost. It's just one of those what ifs. What if this happens? I encourage you to go ahead and print this. It will be posted on the company internet, and put this with your important plan documents so that your family can find it should you need it, and you can have access to it. Through this Europe Assistant USA, it's a 24-hour service that will help you when emergencies occur. One of the features we've had to deal with recently was the return of mortal remains. If you are traveling, and I mean, what if you were to be killed while traveling? How do you get your body back to your home state? You know, a lot of people don't think of this, so it has the return of mortal remains clause in there. It will help with traveling companion assistance. If it will help with dependent care, children assistance, replacement of medication and eyeglasses, interpretation, translation. It will help with emergency travel arrangements, medical evacuation, return home, emergency cash, lost or stolen items. So much is built into this resource service. Again, just don't forget that you have that. It's available to you. And then you also have beneficiary resource services too. And of course, that's going to help provide assistance with legal questions, funeral planning, and counseling to help cope with grief and financial uncertainties when it's needed the most. So they are there to help your beneficiaries. There is a beneficiary resource service hotline and a counseling hotline. I too would recommend that you print this and put this with your important documents should something happen to you. Your family is able to locate it. As a reminder, this is your annual open enrollment. You must keep all elected benefits in place until next year's annual open enrollment unless you experience a qualifying event, as we reviewed in the first few slides. With a qualifying event, you have 30 days from the event date to submit your paperwork to Human Resources and then to get it to the carrier. Otherwise, if you miss that 30-day window, you may not make a plan change until the next annual open enrollment. Summary of Benefits and Coverage, also known as the SBC, came out when Obamacare Affordable Care Act passed. What it is a concise document providing information regarding your medical plan. It's free of charge. There's usually 6 to 8 pages. We're going to have this posted on the company intranet. It will review your medical plan, but you also have access to a benefit summary that's more user-friendly that you can access, as well as a plan certificate should you need more detailed information. That concludes your 2018 open enrollment for Legence Bank. Thank you for attending.